Netflix has made it clear that it's going strong with Japanese programming, particularly anime. We saw how successful Aggretsuko was received, so it's only natural they take a chance on another iconic mascot character from Japan. Does this adorable stop-motion show solidify Netflix as your go-to streaming service for Japanese shows and all things kawaii? Let's find out. I'm Kris Carr, and today on Nerdflix and Chill, we're taking a look at Rilakumma and Kaoru.
Oh, yeah.
Before we dive into the show, I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone donating on Patreon. Thanks to your dollars, Whit and I can keep watching and reviewing shows until our giant eyeballs fall out of our heads instead of getting fired from temp jobs. Head over to our Patreon page and see which tier works for you. We'll thank you with behind-the-scenes looks, shout-outs, and a bunch of more stuff. If you aren't able to donate, liking, sharing, and subscribing are great ways to show your support. Let's bring on the bears! While this isn't a plot-heavy show, we could get into some spoiler territory here, guys. If you're somebody who doesn't want me to spill any of the beans, this video may not be for you, as we'll be discussing a few key events in the series.
Hold it, Rilakumma. Don't be grabby.
Let's talk about how iconic Rilakumma is in Japan. Rilakumma was created by the company Sonex around 2003. Sonex is the biggest rival to Sanrio, who, as I'm sure you know, created Hello Kitty, Aggretsuko, and more. Mascots are an incredibly big part of Japanese culture. There's Rilakumma stationery, dishes, backpacks, and tons of merch. The Netflix series is giving us a look into the daily life of this icon.
What? Sure, just hang on a minute.
The series follows Kaoru, an office worker, and her relationship with her 3 roommates, who all happen to be fuzzy little creatures. Rilakumma, a sleepy, lazy bear that's all about chilling. And there's also Rilakumma, a mischievous little bear, and my personal favorite, Kiritori, a hardworking little chicken who likes to keep everything tidy and gets so annoyed with his roommates' lazy habits.
And you want to know why I bought them, but don't use them. And now there's no way to clean the room.
As we see in the show, Rilakumma isn't fully a bear. He's got a zipper running down his back. Back when he was just a mascot, the creators confirmed he was in fact wearing a onesie. However, his little bear head seems to be very real as he blinks and eats.
Wow, you can really put it away, Rilakumma.
I thought about this for way too long. I thought Kaoru was living with a furry.
Let's watch that too.
Another character heavily featured is Kaoru's neighbor, this little stop-motion Kevin McAllister, who enters their lives by kidnapping Rilakumma. Where are your parents, Kevin? Florida? France? He ransoms this bear for pancakes, which, for some reason, Kaoru takes very seriously. Dude, no wonder you're single, Amelia Bedelia. Or bear nap! Bear nap! Bear nap! Bear nap! Luckily, this latchkey kid becomes less of a prick and doesn't seem like he's gonna grow up as a felon thanks to some quality time with his neighbors. Are they playing Pokemon? I think they're playing Pokemon. It sounds like Pokemon. The show features very slice-of-life storylines. Problems with being perceived as uptight, friends moving on, relationships. And more encounters. Kaoru is DTF. Or down to eat, Liz Lemon style, court her and bring her food.
You're choosing the sandwich over a guy. That is less cliched.
I can do it! I can have it all!
Generally, the show focuses on how life can change, and either you can change with it or stay the same. You can focus on the negative in your life or not worry so much, like the bears.
There's no reason for me to have to choose? So what? I could have both of them, and that's fine?
The one through-line plot we get about 7 episodes in is that there are plans in motion for our hero's home to be torn down.
What?
They're gonna tear down the apartment, the whole building.
Huh?
This proves to be particularly troubling, not just because they'll have to uproot, but because Kaoru went into debt buying things online so she could make eyes at the delivery guy.
You're wondering how we'll afford to move, considering the dire financial situation my online shopping spree put us in. And the fact we're so deep in debt, we can't even afford sweets.
Not a strong move, girl. Now, the animation itself is gorgeous. There's so much detail, from the color choices to the ads, the architecture. It feels incredibly indicative of being in Japan and grounds the show. There is so much attention to detail, and that appreciation of the little details that make life beautiful reinforces the show's take on appreciating the little things in life. That natural beauty in the world around us can take the place of trying to fill our lives with material goods.
Throw out everything. You'll find you cleanse your mind and your body in the process. It's a great way to become a new you.
Another awesome animation aspect is the inclusion of different drawing styles. When the gang watches a horror movie, we see some 2D art on the TV screen. And when a character tells of her past, we see that flashback as a black and white pencil sketch. There's such a level of care that went into creating this world, and giving the artist the opportunity to shine while showcasing a truly unique story that we commonly don't see on the western side of the planet. Even the food is meticulously designed and shown to be prepared traditionally. Just like in many anime and mangas, cooking and food are heavily featured in this show. This has always been one of my favorite aspects of anime, showcasing how intrinsically tied food is to Japan's cultural identity. You'll definitely be inspired to cook, or at least order from your favorite Japanese restaurant. I love that attention to detail.
I can't make up my mind between takoyaki and edamame.
The show does move at a snail's pace, but oddly, it kind of works. For example, I think narratively, it is a little odd that we don't get our origin story until episode 12. But the show doesn't need to follow the constructs of time. The show isn't supposed to be fast or action-packed. After all, one of the title characters' names literally translates to Relax Bear.
And someone waiting for me to come home. I wanted a cat. I ended up with bears.
This is a show aimed at kicking back and unwinding, while also relating to the existential, financial, and romantic problems of a young woman trying to find her way in the world. Kaoru is most of us post-college, caught up in a job she's trying to make meaningful, comparing herself to her friends, whether they're more successful in their careers or their love lives, and just trying to be happy.
The truth is, I have no value. I feel like debris floating around in this thing called life.
Kaoru can escape her dread by spending time with these little kawaii creatures, just like anyone in real life who indulges in mascot culture to take a break from the pressures of the real world can. So, is this the next Aggretsuko?
What is it now?
No. While both share similar themes to young women trying to balance work and life, this is definitely more indie folk than heavy metal. Rilakumma feels like the Japanese version of a Wes Anderson movie. This is a more coming-of-age story about Kaoru than it is about her critter roommates. So for those wanting a purely wacky bear show, this probably won't be your cup of tea.
Now try not to be so obvious, Rilakumma.
Don't get me wrong, it's chock full of cute moments like dancing it out with snowmen, but this doesn't end up being the kids show it appears to be. This seems like it's definitely aimed at people in their late 20s, early 30s. Truthfully, the series probably isn't great for kids, despite the cute as a button animation style. There's an episode that features the ghost of a dead girl who was hit by a truck. And the death part isn't uncomfortable. Kids should know about death. It's that Kaoru tells this vengeful spirit to kick the shit out of Rilakumma and let go of all her rage. What is this show?
I can't help but just want to kick it.
Go ahead, please.
Now, luckily, the dead girl's like, nah, I should not assault a bear because of my past. That's unreasonable. Did we learn a valuable lesson? Who's to say?
Yes, my time is over.
That's unfortunate.
Another episode features Kaoru trying to change people's perception of her, that she's so serious and boring. So, what's a girl to do? Eat the mushrooms off your plushy friend's beehole. Doing shrooms! Who's bored now, bitchy office girl?
Well, no thanks. Guess not. She's a nice girl.
But before they can get weird, a frog gets high off the anal fungus, and Kaoru decides that snarfing these mushies isn't a good idea, even if it would make her seem cool and spontaneous.
Maybe these are poisonous.
Honestly, Kaoru is hard to like at times. She's obviously going through a rough patch. In the very first episode, we established that while her friends are busy with their new lives, they're also pretty crappy friends. We kick things off with her being abandoned by those closest to her, so she chugs beer alone in a public park, contemplating if she'll be alone forever.
Can't be. Am I seriously? All alone? All alone? All alone?
You know, light fare. I mean, sure, that sucks, but Kaoru also leans into this being a hopeless situation. While we all definitely feel feelings of jealousy and not being good enough, Kaoru really struggles with these feelings consistently.
It's starting to feel like it's raining in my soul, too.
Okay, dashboard confessional. She's like a walking Wellbutrin ad. Kaoru's like the drunk girl at every party you've ever been to who thinks she could be the manic pixie dream girl in an indie flick, but is really just manic depressive.
I feel worse than awful.
Then again, maybe her attitude and need to be surrounded by these lazy fuzzballs is just a reflection on the typical viewer, or typical of someone who needs to sort out their life-work balance and practice self-care. That all being said, I did find it to be a pretty enjoyable watch. At only 2.5 hours from start to finish, it's something great to have on while you're unwinding, and the themes of escapism can help you do just that, escape. It's an adorable show that doesn't ask much of its viewer, just to kick their feet up and veg out with some cute kawaii characters. If you're looking for something to take your mind off things and a great show to leave on while you're finishing up your work or studying, this is for you. Even if it just leaves you thinking, dang, at least I've got better self-esteem than Kaoru.
What? That's cruel!
Now for Western audiences, if you want wit, plot, and intrigue, check out one of Netflix's other Japanese offerings. Rilakumma and Kaoru is going to be more of an introspective viewing experience. Or one where you've smoked a whole lot of jazz cigarettes or scarfed down some mushrooms. So while I did enjoy this one, you guys, I won't be going back for seconds on Rilakumma. And we'll stick to watching Aggretsuko for my mascot binges. But hey, that's just me. I'd love to hear from you guys on whether you think this is one you're binging on or bailing on. Go below and let me know. For more videos, click to the left of my face, or you can check us out on Roku or Plex. Thanks again to all of our sponsors on Patreon, and thank you for watching. See you, Space Cowboy.